ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another edition of the Mr. Warren Hayes Show. Doing the hand signs. It's like the masked dancer, except I don't have a mask, and I don't know what the masked dancer really is. Just have people dancing with masks, I guess, which is not unlike professional wrestling when you think about it. You know, lucha libre. Because basically that's what we're going to be talking about tonight. Not necessarily lucha libre specifically, but pro wrestling in general, right here on youtube.com/MrWarrenHayes on this wonderful 10th of February, 2020. I'm already dying. No, here's the thing. If I was ever going to die on stream, let's be honest. Let's hope it never happens. But let's say I were to die on stream. I would hopefully, right? I would hope that I would have the common courtesy to you as viewers to die within like the first 5 minutes of the stream. So not as if to string you along, you know, and it's like, you know, listen to me ramble about, you know, fucking Goldberg and, you know, Lita in Saudi Arabia. Yeah. And then just die. You know, I would hope that I would pass on, that I would shed this mortal coil early on so that you guys can just like, oh, okay, he's dead, flick, and then you can go off and watch something else, you know? Whereas like if you spend like 90 minutes, right, watching my stream, and then like at minute 91, I like die, you're like, well, fuck. You're like, I just watched this guy for an hour and a half and he dies? Like, what a waste of my time, you know, kind of thing. Thank you for being here if you're joining us live here tonight. And there is a bunch of people. Brazil. Okay, thank you, Kelly Tonjes, who's joining us here, as she always does. Thank you very much, Kelly. I appreciate the little geography lesson. Thank you so much. We got Tim Traver, the Diecast Collective, who's here as well. Nice to see you. Mr. Fretz has joined us tonight as well. Nice to see you, sir. Justin Firestein. Hello, Justin. And we've got Fantamark, who popped in and out. We got DGMC, who's with us. El Gato Pollo Loco is here as well. Nice to see you. 5th generation Carney Joseph with it. Nice to see you, Carney. Good to see you. Good to see you. Also got JK Schwal who's here as well. We'll get to that in a second. But thank you. And Heather is here as well. Just jumping in as I'm doing the initial shout outs. She crossed the finish line just in time to get a shout out. Nice to see everyone. Nice to have you here on youtube.com/MrWarrenHayes. If you're already here, you know what to do. Like this video. If you're watching this on demand, like this video. Helps out a great deal. It is fantastic stuff. And if you're watching this on demand, consider leaving a comment as well. That kind of stuff really, really helps out. Also want to say a big thank you to everyone who is joining us on your favorite podcast application, because yes, the Mr. Warren Hayes Show is available on all podcast formats. Thank you very much. And if you're listening to this on your favorite podcast application, do consider giving us a review, a like, a subscription, whatever you want to do. Whatever you can do to show a little bit of love to your boy Warren Hayes. It really helps out quite a bit. It really, really does. So thank you all. More stuff for you to do, because I've got a checklist. You know this by now. Bell2Bells.com, your women's wrestling wire. Go check that out if you want to follow everything that's happening in the world of women's wrestling, opinions, interviews, all that stuff. This is what you do. Bell2Bells.com, BELLTOBELLEES.com. You follow us on youtube.com/Bell2Bells or on Twitter @Bell2Bells. You got us all covered. We're completely covered if you take care of all of that. That's fantastic stuff. There's also a Discord for the Mr. Warren Hayes Show. All the community, a lot of the people who hang out here live are also members of the Discord, which is fantastic. I love my Discord. I love the community there. I love the people who come and hang out. I really do. I give them a hard time sometimes, but it's always out of love. It is a fantastic place. I hope you guys take the time to come and join us. Link is in the description if you want to pop in. That would be fantastic. Also, don't forget that if you want to get yourself a very stylish t-shirt, whatamaneuver.net has its own Mr. Warren Hayes Show shop where you can get some quality designs from your boy, Mr. Warren Hayes. So that's always fantastic. And appreciate it. It's also a nice little way to show some support. Right? A nice little way to show some support. Plus, here's another way is you can show some support. You can become a member of the Mr. Warren Hayes Show channel. And it's, tiny, wee little bit. But the support that you show goes a long way. And you get to join me and the rest of the members for the Warren's Off the Clock post stream. Now, I can't really call it a post stream anymore, because here's the thing: I'm changing it up, switching it up. I'm shaking the cage. I'm rummaging the stuff around. I'm moving the furniture. I'm shuffling the deck. I'm I don't know. I'm going to be holding the post stream. I'll get to it. I'll be holding the members only stream, which is what I should really call it now. The members only stream on Fridays. Now, at least I'm going to try it out on Fridays, early evening on Fridays. So, because if you were like, man, I'd like to become a member. I'd like to join the post streams, but Warren finishes at 11 o'clock. Sometimes later, because he just never fucking shuts up. So maybe you're like, I would like to, but maybe on another, if it was earlier, I'd do it. Well, look, I'm moving it around. Put it in on a Friday evenings, early Friday evenings. And I'd be more than welcome to invite you in, to have you with us, with the other members, to sit around and chat. We chat about professional wrestling. That's what we do. We sit around and we chat. I take questions, comments, ideas, everything from the live chat on YouTube, in the Discord as well. We even take live calls. So if you wanted to try it out, if you're like, oh, Warren, and come on in, come and join us on starting tomorrow. It's the moment I'm recording this, so February 11. I think I scheduled the first one for 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 Central. Come on in, pop in. Like, if you're cooking, if you're getting a meal ready for your loved ones, just pop it in there, and whatever. It'll be a nice time. We'll try it out. We'll see how things go. But yeah, so members only stream is no longer immediately after the Mr. Warren Hayes Show proper. Friday evening, early evening, 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 Central. Should be a good time. Well, I know it's going to be a good time. It was already a good time. It's not because we're changing the date that it's going to be becoming a bad time. But anyway, regardless, becoming a member is a good way to support the Mr. Warren Hayes Show proper, so I appreciate that. You can also drop a super chat as well. That's also possible, and I will read your question or comment live on the air. J.K. Schwal did leave us a super chat regardless. Thank you very much, J.K. He says, what a boring week of wrestling. Not sure you'll be able to hit your 2-hour mark with nothing going on. Yeah, it might be a short one tonight. 3/4 hours at the most. Let's just go right ahead with the continuing saga of my New Year's resolution. Here is the newest installment of 52 Nice Things to Say About Goldberg.
Warren Hayes has 52 nice things to say about Goldberg.
Hey, look, maybe he never got a Super Bowl ring with the Rams, but he does have a WWE Hall of Fame ring.
Warren Hayes has 52 nice things to say about Goldberg.
God damn, I'm topical. Let's get right to the weekly wrestling inspection. No, I'm not saying that the Rams are going to win the Super Bowl this weekend. That's not what it's not something I'm implying, just in case some people are like, is he trying to say that here's the thing. I haven't followed the football league of the National League of Football, right? I haven't followed it since the 90s. I was there in the heydays of the Buffalo Bills when they got these Super Bowl opportunities and it just fell apart. I was a big Bill Smith fan, Cornelius Bennett, Those were my boys. The Jerry Rice days, I was there. I was watching when he was playing for the 49ers. Clay Aikman, Troy Aikman. Who's Clay Aikman? I don't know why I said Clay. Troy Aikman for quarterbacking the Cowboys. Everybody hated the Cowboys in the 90s. All that stuff. So I don't know who's winning the Super Bowl, and I don't care. But no, that's not true. I care who wins the Super Bowl this weekend. I'll tell you why. I hope it's the Cincinnati Bengals, because it always breaks my heart when I hear that, like, 20 plus years after I'm done with after 20 plus years after I'm done watching football, the Bengals still stink, right? And that, I think, for me, the city of Cincinnati, Ohio, deserves this. And on top of that, my pal, my chum, my podcasting peer, Jeff Hawkins from the Shake Them Ropes podcast, absolutely deserves to have his team win. He has been an unrepentant Bengals fan through thick and thin. If anything, I want the Bengals to do it for Jeff, because Jeff deserves it. Okay? Shout out Jeff Hawkins. Shout out Shake Them Ropes. Oh, I was probably thinking of American Idol Clay Aiken. Was it Clay Aiken he was called? Hang on a second. Clay Aiken. Let me just figure this out so that it's the American singer. Okay, that's why. Why did I think of that dope before Troy Aikman? And the only parts, American Idol was fun years ago when it was starting and they were doing the when you'd see the auditions and then you'd see the goofballs try to sing. Like, that part was fun. I don't know if they still do it anymore. I don't even know if American Idol is still on the air, to be perfectly honest. But that was the best part. Like, I don't know. I couldn't tell you who won any year on American Idol. You know what I mean? William Hung, we can talk about. Because William Hung was like, a viral sensation before viral sensations, right? Good for him for getting that 15 minutes. Has it ever been proven if it was an act? Was it ever, like, because that was always my suspicion, right? That William Hung was just like, a performance artist. I don't know if it was ever, probably not. I don't know. But it always came across as a little fishy to me. What should we start talking about tonight? There's a few things I want to talk about. Of course, I'm going to talk about AEW Dynamite. I'm going to talk about some indie shows as well. I'm just looking through my notes here. Okay. Well, look here. Just bear with me for a second, because this is kind of big news. Indie star Nick Gage signed this week an exclusive multi-year contract with GCW, if you can muster up the energy for that to blow your mind, which is wild. Fightful reported this on Monday, if I'm not mistaken. According to the report in and about itself, the deal will reduce the amount of matches Nick Gage is going to have throughout the year, but while also keeping them in GCW. Nick Gage is 41 years old. He's currently one half of the company's tag team champions, along with Matt Tremont. Won them off the Briscoes at the World pay-per-view, the World on GCW a couple of weeks ago. Brett Lauderdale, the owner of GCW, said that he's against the idea of contracts in GCW, but he made an exception. And here I quote, "From day one, Nick has put his body and literally his life on the line for the fans inside the squared circle he deserves, and has earned the right to be rewarded for 20 plus years of hard work and sacrifice. This historic contract will do just that, allowing him to continue his in-ring career at a pace that is beneficial to his health, while beginning to focus on opportunities that take him towards the next phase of his career. GCW would not have achieved the level of success it has without Nick fucking Gage, and we are proud to be able to say that GCW will remain Nick's home for the rest of his career. Personally speaking, this is, amazing for Gage. It is unprecedented because basically Brett said it himself, right, in that statement. He, I don't know. He didn't say it in that statement, but he said it in a tweet. He said, "This is the first and likely the last contract GCW will ever offer. Nick has earned the right to finish his career on his terms with dignity and focus on the future and a focus on the future he deserves. I'm proud GCW can give him that." That's a really big deal, and good for Nick Gage to be able to wrap up his career on that type of level with some form of security. There's money guarantees, well, maybe not guarantees, but there's money attached to this, the date, so on and so forth. GCW has been running so many shows at this point. They run shows every weekend. They've been running 2 shows per weekend since the world happened. I don't think they're strapped for cash really. And if Brett wants to lock down Nick like that, make sure that Nick remains an exclusive to GCW. Well, but it's very interesting to think that an independent promotion like GCW, who doesn't have, TV deals outside of, pay-per-views with on Fight TV, but outside of that, is capable of offering an exclusive contract. And at the same time, it's also a bit of a weird antithesis to what it means to work on the indies at the same time. Because one of the good things about, non-exclusive contracts, as you all know, is the abilities for wrestlers to go wrestle wherever they want and do whatever they want, of course, right? So it's an interesting precedent, because you really don't see that. You really don't see promoters locking wrestlers down into their indie promotion. You'll have, there'll probably be agreements. There'll probably be, there's wrestlers who are preferred in certain companies, certain territories. Of course, that's just the nature of the business. But, like a lockdown exclusive contract, like, not even Impact has that. With its talent can go, wrestle wherever they want. Ultimately, can take the dates they want. It's so interesting. It's extremely interesting. I'm wondering what kind of precedent this is going to set moving forward. It might just be nothing either. But ultimately, you cannot but not be glad for Gage here, because if it means, money for him, less dates, because this guy's body, man, just took a whooping for years. Why wouldn't you want to, take it a little easy, right? Of course. In other news as well, just before we get into the AEW stuff proper, some news coming out of Pro Wrestling Noah. Tag team champions Keiji Mutoh, aka the Great Muta, and Naomichi Marufuji, vacated the GHC tag titles earlier this week, as Muta was sidelined with a hip injury. Let me read the post off of the news post out of postwrestling.com. Keiji Mutoh and Naomi Marufuji were the focus of a press conference hosted by Pro Wrestling Noah today, with today being February 8th, so 2 days ago. And Mutoh revealed, what was that? Mutoh revealed that he is going to be stepping away from the ring due to a hip injury. He and Marufuji are relinquishing the GHC Tag Team Championships as a result. Mutoh stated that since Noah's January 1st event, his left hip has been hurting and he's been having trouble walking. He does not plan to undergo surgery. He shared that the gap in his hip joint is decreasing, so he'll be taking hyaluronic acid and oil as a form of treatment. Marufuji spoke highly of his tag team partner, says that it takes courage to make the decision that Mutoh is making. So this is big news, very interesting news, coming out of Noah, of course. I gotta tell you, with much respect to the career of Keiji Mutoh and everything that he has done in Japanese, like a living legend. And the man is absolutely a living, true to form, not WWE definition form of legend, a real deal legend in the business. Much respect to him. 60-year-old Keiji Mutoh stinks in the ring. He stinks. And his run, while I was not an avid watcher of Noah last year, many people who I talked to, friends, podcasts I listened to, absolutely vilified his reign as heavyweight champion because Noah is very much a promotion based on work rate. That's why you tune in to Noah. You want to see the guys go and go hard. Mutoh couldn't, and that's understandable. At his stage in his career, with what he's been through, with the entirety of the career that's behind him now, you don't expect the guy to be running around, hitting fucking, moonsaults every, 3 times a match, 3 times a week. You know what I'm getting at. But he really did bring down the level of competition, and perhaps to the detriment of some younger talent at the same time. He stinks. He's no longer, he's a shadow of what he used to be. A shadow that looms very large. Don't get me wrong. But I don't have a problem with Mutoh stepping away and stepping away from the ring and taking some time off. Clearly, he's not retiring. But, and look, I've been told multiple times, but Warren, Mutoh is, he's a draw. He's, under his championship reign, Noah scored some of its biggest dates. I'm like, okay, well, of course, right? It's like, that absolutely makes sense to me. Does he need to be champion? Because Mutoh at this stage is an attraction, more so than a guy that you really want to see compete. So if you look, it's not unlike Sting in AEW, right? Although I would definitely argue that Sting is in much better shape. Much better shape than Keiji Mutoh. Sting, it would be the equivalent of AEW bringing in Sting and strapping the AEW World Heavyweight title on right on him, right? Whereas people just want to see Sting, and they don't care whether he's world champion or not, really. They're like, Sting is a legend. I want to see the legend wrestle. I want to see him do things in the ring. Doesn't have to hold a title, right? It's like Brock Lesnar. Doesn't need a title. These people are the draws themselves. They don't necessarily need to be at the top of the card. So look, he's been in a tag team with Marufuji. That's fine. Now we'll see what happens moving forward, but we're good, Mutoh. We're good to go. Thank you. Let's start talking about AEW then. Let's go right ahead. Gonna do my weekly breakdown of everything that happened. There's a, couple of things that may have, occurred that maybe you've heard of. But we're gonna start with Rampage. We're gonna go back to Friday. When on Rampage last Friday, Adam Cole defeated Evil Uno. This was part 1 of what was going to culminate on Dynamite last night, of Adam Cole's new plan to prove that he is, one of the best wrestlers in the world. Correct? Starts by going after Evil Uno, setting up a match there. Short, inoffensive match, just to help Cole establish himself as an edge, right? And the thing here is that you probably noticed Cole didn't come out with the Young Bucks. He didn't come out with Red Dragon. He came out all by himself. There were no shenanigans. He dove right in and he was like, "Look, I'm gonna beat the shit out of Evil Uno," and he beat the shit out of Evil Uno, and that's good. That's fine. Short, like I said, match was fine. Now, here's what I find interesting. Here's what I find really, really interesting. Now, the discourse has kind of shifted, right? From Adam Cole is a joke to Adam Cole lost a match this last week. Why is he in contention for a title? First of all, he wasn't in contention for a title. He said that he was coming after the world title, but it didn't immediately place himself at the top. He's just like, But there's always going to be a problem with Adam Cole, clearly. Because then, even despite the fact that the victory, right, that he had, the loss that he took to Orange Cassidy didn't affect his rankings. The rankings that some people are just follow, like with interest. It was but this doesn't make sense because of the rankings. Now the rankings are making sense. But then the discourse is shifting to, well, Adam Cole shouldn't be challenging for a title if he just lost a match. And then again, it's like, it connects because Cole still has that undefeated streak. He's technically still undefeated. Plus, and this is the important thing, he's not inserted. He's not in a title hunt. Not at that point. And he went back and he got a win. There's no match that has been signed yet. Tony Khan did not make the match official yet. So I don't know what everyone's excited about. I swear. The contingent of people out there that I determined to make Adam Cole a nothing, a nobody, it's going to come and bite them in the ass. Because of everyone that AEW has signed over the past year, I don't think there is anyone they picked up, despite CM Punk, despite Bryan Danielson, despite, but despite those pickups, for long term, Adam Cole is so perfect. Absolutely perfect. And he's going to have longevity for the company. He's got so many years still in front of him. A guy that can do it all. I don't understand these discourses. I don't know why they keep switching to try and convince people that Adam Cole is a joke. A lot of people who are still very frustrated that WWE fired their favorite wrestler, I think. Want to say hello to Devi, who's in the chat. Devi? Nice to see you. And welcome. AEW TNT title match. Sammy Guevara defeated Isaiah Cassidy to retain the TNT title. Sammy does a Fosbury flop during this match. Matt Hardy does a side effect on Sammy on the apron. Andrade eventually comes out as well to join the proceedings. Cassidy hits a big backbreaker and a backstabber, suicide dive, all sorts of great stuff. Sammy lands a beautiful moonsault on the floor as well in a GTH. Brings the match to an end. Fun little match. And we're going to talk about Isaiah Cassidy again in a short while, but if there's a guy if there's a guy in AEW who has grown before our eyes and has become so much more of a champion level quality guy, that's a horrible sentence. But if there's one guy who has who's grown so much, it's Isaiah Cassidy. Just absolutely fantastic stuff from start to finish. So good. He's improved so much. If you're asking me, you asking me? Are you asking me? Are you asking me? All right, thank you. Thank you for asking me. I think he's starting to outgrow his tag team. Fantastic guy. Anyway, after the match, the AHFO, not exactly, doesn't exactly roll off the tongue, does it? The AHFO are all in the ring and they're threatening to attack Sammy when Darby Allin runs in. And then Andrade sort of starts licking his chops and going, "Oh, are you going to sign my contract?" That's not how Andrade talks. And, I'm very limited on, the types of accents I can do. The HFO threatening to attack Sammy. Darby runs in, like I said, the signing. But everyone relents when it's clear Darby doesn't want to sign. And he stares at the TNT title belt. So, okay. So, Darby, Sammy coming up down the line. Smells like it. We finally got Thunder Rosa and Mercedes Martinez. What a hot start this was. Like, these ladies aren't supposed to like each other, right? They're not supposed to like each other, and they just go right in, and they're beating the hell out of each other. No collar elbow tie-ups. No feeling out period. Just like, boom, Thunder Rosa, shotgun drop kick. Boom. She hits a stunner and a Northern Lights suplex. It's physical. There's a lot of big spots, but it comes to an end when Martinez wallops Thunder Rosa with a pipe, forcing a DQ. She did this right in plain view of the ref. A very, very, very rare disqualification finish, disqualification victory, disqualification ending to a match in All Elite Wrestling. Now, this is how you handle a disqualification decision and give it meaning, right? Because ultimately, it's a DQ finish because everyone had to look strong is a boring reason that everyone always falls back on when the other company does it, because there is no real creative around it outside, well, we have to protect so-and-so, or we have to protect both guys, we have to protect both girls. That doesn't make sense. Well, it makes sense, but that's not what I meant. Not that it doesn't make sense, it gets boring because it's always the same reason, and it's such a throwaway way of doing it that it's not even remotely special here. But here, not only is the DQ finish in AEW, a blue moon type of, it's the equivalent of spotting Sasquatch out in the woods, right? They tie it into a story, because after the match, we get a backstage segment. You have Britt, who's, Mercedes is there. She's talking to, was it Marvez? Probably. But Britt comes in and she tells Martinez, she says, we're supposed to get the job done. You were supposed to get the job done. What are you doing? And she comes in and Jamie Hayter sounds surprised when she hears this. She's like, why didn't you tell me? You know, she has this face where it's like, what are you talking about, Britt? Why was I not informed of this? So clearly, right at that point, it was clear, to me anyway, that they're setting the stage for Britt versus Rosa a little bit down the line, right? We're slowly gravitating towards that one. Now on Dynamite, we're going to skip forward to Dynamite. We get a video package where you get Britt Baker, who's made it clear that she's in an alliance with Mercedes Martinez, that she brought Mercedes in to take out Thunder Rosa. So now it couldn't be any clearer that we are building towards Rosa Baker 2. And fulfilling a prophecy that I had established that the person who is going to take the belt off of Britt Baker is going to be Thunder Rosa. This is unequivocal. There is no one bigger in the women's division right now. Thunderous ovations. Everyone loves Thunder Rosa. She's a hell of a worker on top of that. Perfect women's champion stuff. Absolutely perfect. So look at how everything was tied in. But then on top of that, they're even setting the stage for Jamie Hayter and Mercedes Martinez to go after each other. And I'm like, let's fucking go. Let's do this. So the match is set for Martinez versus Rosa 2. It's going to be a no DQ match. But then on top of that, you got Jamie Hayter, who's now, you know, the seeds of discontent are starting to blossom into a full-blown bouquet of despair. Maybe not my greatest analogy. But nonetheless, right? Now here's a little bit of the kick. Here's the kicker for me here. The Jamie Hayter stuff, I think, is a nice little. It's a nice little seedling that they popped here, because I would absolutely love Jamie Hayter and Mercedes Martinez to have a program with each other. Absolutely. Are you kidding me? And Jamie Hayter, they're slowly, look, she's the Wardlow of the women's division right now. You know, it's like she's not doing powerbomb symphonies, but you know, this is clearly the path that they want her to take as well, and they're going to give her a nice slow burn of a turn like they're doing with Wardlow right now. Wardlow is over because of the way he's being booked. If they're smart and they take their time with Hayter, they'll be able to get the same kind of reaction there. So they're doing good. They're doing good. And here's an aside. Here's an aside though. Because it's been something I've been wanting to talk about, right? And I think this is a good opportunity. Because I found that there's a lot of discourse going around women's wrestling right now. You know, where, look, women's wrestling, just like anything in wrestling now these days, you know, since the past couple of years, has clearly fallen into the tribalism camp here, right? And this is it's problematic, because at this point, the discourse in regards to women's wrestling is a question of who does it better. Oh, on SmackDown, they had these many matches and they only had one on Dynamite. Yeah, but the one on Dynamite was X minutes and actually advanced the story. And plus they did this. Yeah, but on Raw, they did that. And WWE is better and AEW is better. And at this point, and these are discussions that pop up that people have that I've been involved in, but I've reclused myself because we're losing the plot when it comes to women's wrestling. We are lowering the bar for ourselves because we are trying to determine who has the highest number of matches. Oh, they had 3 this week and they had 1.5, whatever, what the fuck ever, right? We go around patting AEW on the back when they have 2 women's segments like they did on Dynamite last night, when in fact, the bar has become so low and the discourse has been skewed completely that we've forgotten that the basic principle of wanting more women's matches, a better built women's division, regardless of the company, is because of equality. And it's never been about, let's get 1 or 2 more matches, let's get, a couple of more women's segments. And it's always been about parity, equality, having the same type of matches, respect, booking that the guys have. That's always been it. It's never been a question of who does more. I think right now, AEW and WWE, neither of them are doing good. Neither of them are doing well in this regard. They're giving us scraps. They're saying, oh, well, we're going to do better. We're going to keep improving. But they're either stagnant, they're creating false hopes, or they're just outright gutting their divisions and throwing them to the side, right? And then all of a sudden you end up with a Women's Royal Rumble where you have to fill it up with former divas because you've got no one else. Don't lose, as avid listeners, viewers of the MrWarrenHayes show, I ask of you, don't let the discourse become askew with quantities, with numbers, with us versus them. Because women's wrestling in general needs to continue to be elevated to a level of equality. And don't worry, I've had these arguments before. I've chatted with people who know so much and whose usual response is, well, Warren, who do you stop pushing then? Who do you keep off TV to push women? And that is the most asinine question that you could ask, quite frankly, because in an environment where your women are treated on the same level as your guys, you will not be asking that question. You will be saying, hot damn, I'm glad that wrestler is on TV, regardless if it's a woman or a man. I am entirely 100% hard-pressed to find anyone who is saying, man, that Serena Deeb push, I wonder who she's keeping down. No one is saying that. No one is saying, I wonder which dude is being kept off TV because of this Serena Deeb push. Because most people that I see, that I chat, everyone loves the Serena Deeb push. Why? Because it's good. Because they have a talented wrestler being pushed properly in a way that's compelling and interesting. Good storytelling, given proper position on the card, given a level of importance within the storytelling with commentary. It's not just things that we brush aside. I've been saying this for as long as I've been podcasting. If you treat your women's division like something important, the fans will consider it as important. And we will not have these asinine questions as to who do you de-push to push, because you'll be wanting to see this person pushed. It is remarkable how simple it is. And the talent is there. The talent is absolutely 100% there in WWE, in AEW. There is no reason to downplay it, to make it, it's a bit of an iffy thing. Put trust in the talent that you have. Push them. Make them feel important. And that's the promotion's job. It's the promotion's job. It's creative's job to make them feel important, to make them come across as a big deal. So for fuck's sake, enough with the AEW has done this week. SmackDown has done this week. None of them are doing good. Because the objective is equality. It's parity. That's always been the target. FTW Championship. Ricky Starks defeated Jay Lethal. Very physical start. Some dives to the floor and whatnot. Lethal runs at Starks, who catches him in a belly-to-belly release suplex, which I dug so much. That was so good. Starks reverses out of an Alabama slam attempt into a Liger bomb. Get Dante Martin running out of nowhere with one of those huge springboard splashes where it's like Dante just jumps, like he touches clouds. It's like, you know what I'm talking about. He crashes down onto Powerhouse Hobbs on the outside. Starks counters a lethal injection into the Rochambeau, which is one of the greatest counter maneuvers into a finisher I have seen in a long time. Such fantastic shit. So he retains his title. I mean, for a lot of people, this was the defining match for Ricky Starks, right? Like, this is the one that had a lot of people waking up and going, this guy's fantastic. He's always been fantastic. He hasn't wrestled in a while because of his injury, so on and so forth, but this was a very, very strong main event. And yes, it is more than time for you to get on board the Ricky Starks train, choo-choo. If you're not already on it. Like, we've been telling you guys, this guy, my first exposure to Ricky Starks was when NWA Power was still on YouTube. As Ricky Starks was on NWA at that time, he was their TV champion. Or he was a TV champion at the time, not the, like it's, and he was just cutting promos, man. I was like, look at this kid. He's amazing. And he gets in the ring and he's got the attitude, the body, the same type of attire. And I'm looking at him with, all the other goofs in the NWA, and I say goofs very lovingly for that time, Murdoch and, the question mark and, and I'm like, he just stands out, and they never properly given him, they've never given him some proper time. And I was like, there's no way this guy's staying in NWA. Next thing you know, he's showing up on AEW for a TNT title match and gets a job. It's like fantastic stuff. I love Ricky Starks. Still, this is going to be one of those sneaky big signings that maybe it's not obvious how big this is going to pay off for them. Give it a couple of years. When the smoke starts to clear, when the big names start, moving away, the big, like the Danielsons, the Punks, the Jerichos, once they all, Mox, and you're going to need to replenish like your upper mid card. I mean, Ricky Starks is going to be right up there. He's going to work his way up. And we're along for the ride. And we're lucky. And we're happy. And we're one big happy family. I love you. You love me. We're good friends as friends should be. With a great big hug and a kiss from me to you. I don't remember the rest. I can't remember the last. Shit. Can't remember the last lyric. This is what I want to start off with. Did you all enjoy AEW Raw? First hour? Did you enjoy that? In the Discord, I love it. In the Discord, last night as we were watching, by the way, you should be a member. Go join the Discord. It's free. In the Discord, when when Dynamite started with the promo, everyone was like, "Oh, Warren's gonna hate this. Warren's gonna hate this," and Warren did hate this. I hated it. I hated the first like 45, 50 minutes of Dynamite last night, because I mean, if I want to watch this kind of shit, there is 5 hours of programming, 7 hours of programming that I can tune into on a weekly basis to get exactly this. And I'm not impressed. And honestly, I know a lot of folks like the first segment because it's CM Punk, because it's MJF, because, we all have our faves, and that's fine. I have faves too. And sometimes it breaks your heart when your faves do things that you don't love, but you're like, no, you know what? I like this anyway. But listen, this is what we got. This is what we got. A stellar Justin Lopez. Nice to see you. Welcome to the chat. I like usernames that have an adjective in them. I always dig it. Stellar. It's not just Justin Lopez. It's stellar Justin Lopez. It almost feels like you should embroider that on a jacket. Anyway. Because, look, this is what happened, right? Wardlow comes out unannounced. He's got cardboard cutouts. He goes and sets them up in the ring, right? He gives marching orders to Justin Roberts to introduce the rest of the Pinnacle. And the rest of the Pinnacle come out, and they're partying, right? They're celebrating. MJF comes out. Why? For a celebration. A victory celebration. Now, where do I see victory celebrations almost on a monthly basis? Maybe like every 3 weeks or so. Where do I see this kind of setup on a fucking regular basis? And you know, didn't the Alpha Academy just a couple of weeks ago have one of those? Where they had, like, instead of having cardboard cutouts, they had balloons, right? All that kind of stuff. Come on, guys. Like, let's be real with each other. Let's be absolutely real with each other. In this segment right here, it took us 12 minutes to get to booking an impromptu tag team match. I want you to ask yourselves, where have you seen this before? And again, and again, and again. I get it. It's a trope. Okay? I get it. It is a trope in wrestling to do this impromptu tag. But it took us the length of a Roman Reigns promo on SmackDown to book a match, which is essentially what most, maybe not most, but a lot of Roman Reigns promos end up doing. You're going to face X in this match tonight, or the Usos are going to face X in this match tonight. Like, I'm sorry. If I'm nothing if not consistent. I don't like opening promos for wrestling shows. I sit down to watch wrestling. Don't give me microphone time, or as Brandy Rhodes would say, open mic night. I don't give a shit. Not straight off the gate. Dynamite has developed a reputation. It is the cornerstone of what makes Dynamite great. Hot opening match, hot main event, and everything in between just clicks. Why are we starting off with talk? I don't care. It is the most low energy way to start any wrestling show. There are exceptions, of course. There is always context. There is always exceptions. CM Punk returning at the United Center in Chicago. Of course you start with that. John Moxley addressing the audience after returning from rehab for being gone for a few months. Yes, you start with, because that's significant. It's important. But having a drawn out 12-minute promo to set up a match later on in the evening, I got no use for that. I don't have use for it with the other guys. I most certainly don't have it with these guys who actually deliver the type of wrestling show that I really like. So yes, I'm being critical. Doesn't mean that I want to torch AEW down and say, fuck this place, it's time for it to die. Of course not. But I don't like where it's going, because the opening promos have been happening more and more frequently. Oh, yeah. Absolutely more frequently. And that, it grinds my gears, guys. I don't like it. I mean, look at the content. Look, these are the notes I took, okay? He's the best in the world because he beat Punk twice. This is what he's telling us. Okay. Sure, and I can get behind that. It's good heel heat. He thanks Shawn Spears for helping him win. Again, good heel heat. And helps the Wardlow turn. Wardlow's expressions, fantastic. He has a new t-shirt. It's ass. Have you seen the t-shirt? It's bad. It's not a good t-shirt. CM Punk comes out with no music. I like that. They trade some barbs. Oh, what a novelty thing. CM Punk and NJF having a war of words. By golly, it's not as if we haven't already had 45 minutes of that spread out over the past few weeks, right? It's are they going, is there going to be a Rosie O'Donnell reference? By God, maybe someone's going to say Chicago sucks. Oh, or maybe someone's going to say that CM Punk is hated by the boys backstage. Oh, goodness. I know we didn't get the Rosie O'Donnell reference, but we got pretty much everything else. And then there's this whole convoluted thing, even the setup for the match. I'm like, this could be so much simpler because Punk wants a rematch, right? Punk wants a rematch with MJF, and MJF is like, I'll give you your rematch, CM Phil, if and only if you find yourself a partner backstage that's not Sting and Darby who come out to flank CM Punk, right? If it's not because, and that's when he says, because you won't find another partner because everyone hates your guts backstage. And if you can beat FTR tonight, then you'll get your match. The match you get to pick the time, the place, and the stip, right?
Oh, yeah.
So it just went around town so hard, so incredibly hard, just to get to that destination. And I'm looking at it and I'm like, why is this opening? I did not understand why this was opening, why this wasn't shortened to 6 minutes instead of 12. There was no reason for none of this to be this long. Oh. And I have another thought here, but I'm going to read some super chats. I got 2 super chats here. First and foremost from Stellar Justin Lopez. Look at it. Stellar guy. Dropping some super chats. Thank you very much, Stellar. He says, AEW hadn't done that in forever, and now it seems like they're doing it every other week with opening promos. There's a reason why they call you Stellar, Justin Lopez. P.S. Kong bows to no one. I'll hit the bricks, pal. Suddenly, Stellar Justin Lopez's star isn't shining so bright. Because we all know Kong, the king, right? Air quotes, King Kong ate ass to my boy Godzilla. My boy Godzilla. Right here and right here too. Look at this. Look. Godzilla has got him. Okay. Thank you very much for the super chat. Yeah, outside of the bit here, but I do agree. It's been happening more and more often that they're starting the Dynamites with promos, and I'm like, why? Make it feel special. When it happens, it has to be special. There was nothing special here. It was very run of the mill. Could have had a match. Could have led in. It could have actually been Wardlow kicking it off and then going into the promo, and that wouldn't have bothered me. Just start with a fucking match. Mr. Fretz left us a super chat as well. Thank you very much, Mr. Fretz. He says, I want Wardlow to come out to a remix of Bittersweet Symphony called Powerbomb Symphony. That is all. This is a Powerbomb Symphony or something. I don't remember. Yeah, I wasn't into the verb pipe, the verve chat. What? Right, the verve pipe. Bittersweet, because I'm going to tell you, symphony, the verve, just the verve. I don't know why I wanted to add a pipe there, but there was something like a verb point, right? When was this song released? Bittersweet Symphony was released in 1997. I'm not going to lie. In 1997, I was not listening to hit top 40 radio. I really was not. I was much cooler than that. Why did I want to call it the Verve Pipe? There was a band called the Verve Pipe, right? And maybe that, the Verve, I'm sure of it. Yes, see, I fucking knew it. The Verve Pipe is another band. And you see, and was the band was founded in 1992, and they were a grunge band. Okay, see, I'm not completely insane. Not completely. I see. That's it. Mr. Fret's proving his Canadian ship here, talking about big shiny tunes. See that I didn't get those. I didn't buy those albums. I was cutting edge, man. I was deep into. I was a Sub Pop guy. I was a label guy, right? I'd listen to Sub Pop, Ninja Tune. What was the one? Can't think of it. Aphex Twins label at the time. Anyway, so I was listening to a lot of stuff that no one else was listening to. So Big Shiny Tunes, I'd point and laugh and I'd be like, haha, look at these normies and their music. So, but thank you very much for the super chat, Mr. Frets, and the stellar one. But here's the thing. I'm going to tell you what bugs me. Okay, no, it's not that it bugs me. I have two scenarios here. If AEW is listening to the MrWarrenHayes show right now and wants to please MrWarrenHayes, because I think between all of us, it is much better to have MrWarrenHayes on your side than the opposite, okay? Here's what, if you want to keep me happy with this MJF CM Punk rematch, which is, in and about itself, wholly unnecessary, you got to do one of two things. Because they're probably going to do this on the Pape, right? They're probably going to build a stip match for Revolution. You either have, you do the right thing, and you have MJF beat CM Punk again. Clear, decisive, no more shenanigans, we're done, this is it. MJF wins the match. Or, if CM Punk wins, this leads us to a rubber match, which MJF should win. Because otherwise, this is just 50-50ing everyone, and guess what happens when you 50-50 everyone? No one really gets over, and it's a shame. It would put everything, this whole program and everything that these guys wrestled last week, it just dissolves to nothing. I was really thinking that they were going to put this on ice, dig this up in a few months and be like, okay, let's do this again. And I'll be like, yeah, but so soon, this is some 50-50. It smells like 50-50 shit. And it smells like they want to take some heat away from MJF's big score here. Kind of like what they did. Kind of like that match that he had with Jericho. What was it? Was it All Out this year? No, not at All Out. Was it Double or Nothing? When was I can't quite remember. I think it wasn't All Out. The rematch with Jericho after MJF, defeated him 3 times in different circumstances. MJF's like, and Jericho's like, one more time. And then Jericho wins that one. I'm like, what the fuck? What's the point? This is absolutely pointless. Jericho wants his heat back. Who gives a fuck? Aging veteran Chris Jericho shouldn't feel like he needs to get his heat back. CM Punk shouldn't feel like he needs to get his heat back. Now, that's not what I'm saying is happening, but if they start 50-50ing this bullshit, this is kind of what's going to happen. So if they do set up the match and Punk wins, and again, nothing against CM Punk, this is a question of booking. If Punk wins, let's get a rubber match in which Maxwell wins. That's what I want. I want MJF to score the big win over CM Punk so that he has that in his tool bag for the rest of his career. I'm the guy who beat Chris, who has a winning record over Chris Jericho. I'm the guy who has a winning record over CM Punk. Beat the legends. He's a heel. He's a bastard. Let him get these scores. Let him get these wins. Don't have to. The fans are happy regardless, and they're going to keep cheering for CM Punk regardless. CM Punk doesn't need to rebuild his heat. It's his first loss. It's fine. He's fine. Anyway, if that's what they do. But just the fact that they're deciding to run the match again, it kind of rubs me the wrong way. I'm like, really? No, come on, no. Au contraire, let's keep working at MJF. Let's keep making him something. Anyway, so this happens, right? Because we're still in the midst of AEW Raw here. So excuse me. MJF, the segment, then Wardlow comes out for his squash match, right? Against the Blade. It's fine. 4 Powerbomb Symphony and gets the job done. It's fine. It's fine. But tell me that isn't something that you would see on a Monday night. Big promo segment, short little match, big promo segment. Because that's exactly what we fucking got. Then the Inner Circle comes out for their mandatory thing. Now, if you're asking me, did you at least like it, Warren? Yes. Yes, I did. I liked it more than the MJF CM Punk stuff. Why? Because it was fresh. Because we didn't see this. We've seen interminable, numerous Inner Circle promos over the existence of the group, right? But we've never seen outright dissent. So that's what made it fresh here. Plus, we're seeing guys that we normally don't hear talk. Also fresh. CM Punk and MJF, they've been at each other for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks. We didn't need more of that again this week. So I'm kind of like, a little fatigued, a little tired. I'm a little bored of this. This fresh. I like it. It's new. We got Santana who's pissed off. Any little fight that they've had, he's telling this to Jericho. They had to change focus. It's always, the Inner Circle has always been about the improving Jericho, right? Making him look better, putting him in the spotlight. And anytime that Santana and Ortiz have had a little spotlight, any chance to win the tag titles, what happens? Yep. Tossed aside. It's time to move on to Jericho and Jericho's rescue, Jericho's success, Jericho. Jericho gets some heel heat, right? By reminding Santana of Eddie Guerrero, and everyone's like, oh, my boy Eddie. But then he says, Eddie used to get all hyped up and then would blame everyone else. And then everyone's like, what? What the fuck? So this is why this was interesting. This was all new. Jericho is in the midst of a heel turn. Santana and Ortiz getting mad. This is good stuff. This is fresh. I like this. It was well placed in the show. Don't get me wrong. But I'm like, good. This is at least interesting. Jericho asks, why are you guys aligned with Eddie Kingston? Because he's a loser. He doesn't have the clout that I have. He says, I'm the influencer in AEW, right? And I don't know if you heard, Chris Jericho is trying to trademark the influencer. So there's the new thing. That's going to be his new heel persona, right? And then he wonders, and I like this, if he invited the wrong members of LAX to join the Inner Circle. And then he asks Jake Hager, by the way, shout out Jake Hager, who hasn't been on TV for 17 million years. Says he asks Jake Hager if he has Hernandez and Homicide's numbers, and that sort of strikes a chord with Santana. And then Sammy Guevara says he's going to quit again if everyone doesn't play nice. Next week we're getting Santana and Ortiz versus Jericho and Hager. I will add that I think we're good with Jericho at this point. I think AEW is good with Chris Jericho at this point. Chris Jericho for the opening salvo of AEW was crucial. In its first year, essential. Putting the strap on him to kick things off, like, if you were to talk to Tony Khan, if you had a time machine and you popped up to Tony Khan and said, Tony, and Tony's like, I'm like, Tony, I have my time machine here. We can go back in time and we can change whatever you want to change about how you started AEW. We can go back and you can change anything. I'm pretty sure Tony Khan goes, you know what? We're good. I don't change a thing, especially not changing Chris Jericho getting the title out of the gate. Because I think that was crucial for the development of the company. I think the Inner Circle was very important as well, very good. But I think right now, Chris Jericho, I feel like he's a couple of steps behind, not quite exactly at the top of the card, not the top of the card, but at the top of his game. I don't think he's really all that important. If he is used right now to put Santana and Ortiz over, get those guys, get some momentum going finally for those guys, I'm all for it. But then after, I'm good if Chris Jericho takes a back seat, because stuff is so stacked with really top tier people and people putting people over. I think we're good without Chris Jericho for a while. Face of the Revolution qualifying match. The surprise opponent turned out to be the limitless Keith Lee, who came in, defeated Isaiah Cassidy. Now, I don't think I have any real cutting takes here. I think my takes are ultimately very honest in the case of Keith Lee here, but also very lukewarm. Like, there's nothing really shocking what I'm about to tell you guys here. Look at how easy it is to let a man be a wrestling star by just letting him be himself, right? That's all you have to do. Just let the guy come in, be himself, let him have that connection, that special connection that he has with every wrestling audience that has ever seen him wrestle, and just let him do his thing. No fucking Bearcat bullshit where it's like this repackaging. Folks, I'm not going to sit here and pretend, okay, that I know all the intricacies of wrestling booking. Au contraire, from what I understand about it, it's complex, lots of moving parts, lots of egos, lots of personalities that you have to deal with, okay? I get that. But ultimately, you're booking a show. You're telling your talent, you go out there, you do this. And you want people to react, because that's how wrestling works. You want people to get excited for what you're doing. You want crowd reactions. You want people to be happy, because then when you come back into their town, you're going to buy another ticket to go see it, because you're like, God damn, last time we were here, what a fucking great show. That's the basics of it. So, booking a show, not easy, but it's also possible to make it harder for yourself. And WWE putting Bearcat, not knowing what to do with Keith Lee, creating the Bearcat bullshit, where they're telling him to go to the ring and you look menacing, you look angry. They were asking him to wrestle like Omos. Don't do any crazy shit. You're a big guy. You wrestle like a big man. They didn't even ask him to wrestle like Kane. Kane would do dives. Kane would do the clothesline from the top rope shit. They're not even asking him to do that. Like, wrestle like Omos. Wrestle like fucking Braun Strowman. When you have someone who is so special, and on top of that, you're a heel. You're a heel. Keith Lee, a heel. But we know WWE has a track record at making things harder for themselves. At SummerSlam 2021, the biggest babyface in the company comes back, and they turn her heel. And to this day, people still aren't buying it. But no, she's a heel. Fucking blows my mind. Put him in a weird ass singlet. When the visual of Keith Lee, this mass of manhood, just right before you, just like, he's not a skinny dude, but you don't. That's not what Keith Lee is. He doesn't have to be skinny. Don't have to cover it up. That's the part of it. Like you said, look at the size of this guy. He should not be doing what he's doing. And I know we say that a lot about a lot of wrestlers, a lot of big guys, like, oh, you shouldn't be cartwheeling, my God. But Keith Lee is legitimately amazing in the ring. He really does shit that he shouldn't be doing. Like physically impossible. It pisses me off when I see that. And then it's like the Bearcat shit. Let it play out, Warren. That's what they tell me. Let's just see where this goes. Well, it goes straight to AEW. Without the Bearcat bullshit. And the guy is treated like a superstar. And he acts like a superstar. And I'm going to tell you right now, by the way, botch spots and chair shots. Nice to see you. Welcome to the chat. Same to you, Nick Nutter. I'm going to tell you guys this. The weirdest part about this whole thing that I saw today were, and I'm not going to name any names. Wrestling reporters reviewing the Keith Lee return or entry into AEW, let's put it that way. And talking about how he's winded, how he put on some weight and whatever, like he's fat. He got winded during the match. And I'm telling you this. That guy, Keith Lee, was never a small guy. I don't know what kind of weight he suddenly put on. He looks exactly like he's always looked like, first and foremost. Second of all, if you saw the same match I did, didn't look winded. If he acted like he was winded, or maybe he was selling, but he was not winded because he would not be hitting the spot that he was hitting if he was gassed. And these are from reputable sources, right? Kind of outs their own sources, who they're talking to. When I see that kind of wild ass bullshit, it just boggles my mind. But this is the kind of shit that happens. Like, it's one thing to have troll accounts on Twitter saying, WWE made Keith Lee great. What a traitor. He was never great in the first place. That's one thing. But then to turn around and have, personalities that have tenure, been doing this for a while, trying to spin something very backhandedly. Like, come on. Then it starts becoming a little transparent. And that starts pissing me off. There was nothing wrong about Keith Lee's debut. Perfect stuff. In and out. Looked like $1 million. Treated like he should be. I don't know what more you want. Wonderful power moves with Isaiah Cassidy. Again, Isaiah Cassidy. Who's the guy you put into the big situation to get someone over? Isaiah Cassidy. Why? Because he's fantastic. I told you guys this earlier. Matt Hardy leaves due to eccentric behavior. That's what they said on commentary. Oh, Matt Hardy jumps over the barricade, leaves because of eccentric behavior. Where do you think this is leading, folks? You've only got one guess. Did I say hi to Pluggo? Good to see you, Pluggo. Then the other debut, Jay White, showing up on AEW. The Elite are attacking Roppongi Vice. Rocky Romero and Trent Beretta. and they're attacking him, and then after that, Jay White sort of saunters in. Adam Cole goes, look who's here, and he just picks up Trent Barretta and tosses him into the trailer. Jay White, look, I marked out, whatever you, mark the fuck out. I'm a Jay White guy. I'm a huge Jay White guy. The kind of guy whose career grew on me, the guy grew on. I love Jay White. He is still to this day the best heel in the business. To this day. And he's there in AEW. Later, it's revealed that Adam Cole invited him. And he said that when you're Bullet Club for life. And I'm like, oh, okay, this is adding so many fantastic fucking wrinkles. It's like, oh, so it's not just a question of, is Jay White coming in and is really a part of the elite? Or, you know, are we starting up are we extending the North American faction of Bullet Club, right? Because the Tongans are in Impact along with Chris Bay, right? And Jay White is there too, and they're all Bullet Club. Are we going to get some Bullet Club sprinkles in AEW? When Kenny comes back, Kenny's going to come back. He's like, when Kenny left, he was like, you guys got to hold down the fort. He told that to the Bucks. The Bucks are just like, what the fuck is going on kind of thing. The Bucks are, things are happening and they're like, what the hell is Adam Cole doing? Adam Cole's coming in for a power play, man. He's coming in for a power play. He's going to take over. He's bringing in Jay White. I wouldn't be surprised if we see Guerrillas of Destiny show up on AEW. I wouldn't be surprised one single bit at this point. And you know where I think this leads us? I think it leads us down the line to a blood and guts match, the Elite versus Bullet Club. You got the Bullet Club on one side and you got the Elite. You've got the Bucks, Kenny. Oh, and who could a fourth person be in the Elite? Cody Rhodes. And people would lose their shit for that. There's so much great stuff. And Jay White, and back to Jay White for a second though. Jay White is not leaving New Japan. I absolutely don't think so. I think Jay White he's a star, but he's a mega star in Japan. And I think he still has more to give. I think he's a main eventer in Japan. He's a Wrestle Kingdom main eventer in Japan. I think in North America, despite his pedigree, despite the fact that a lot of us nerds know who he is, he will have to fight for a spot. And I think his is made right now. I don't think he's going anywhere just yet. But on the flip side, he's in North America. He's doing all sorts of dates. He's going to do New Japan Strong. He's going to do Impact. He's going to do AEW. Why wouldn't he do that? Because right now in Japan, they're barely running shows. They had to cancel a full week of shows 2 weeks ago. So they're barely running shows at full capacity, and New Japan is giving everyone a pay cut. All the talent are taking a 10 to 15% slash on their salaries. We talked about this last week. So why wouldn't Jay White stay in North America where shows are running every fucking week? Every fucking weekend there is a wrestling show happening. So whatever money that New Japan slashed from him, I wouldn't be surprised if he was like, when they told him that, it was like, well, look, I'm going to stay in North America, keep me here, and I'm going to run some extra dates to make up for whatever you're taking away from me. And that would be absolutely legitimate. I'm excited. I'm excited to see where this goes. Because it's Jay White. Jay White rules. Jade Cargill successfully defended the TBS title against AQA. Good to see her back out of her miserable NXT run. Too talented is AQA to be kept down like that. And she got a promo package and an entrance, so I'm crossing my fingers. Like, I thought they were going to bring in Athena, Ember Moon, for the rookie challenge, but AQA is fantastic stuff. Not Jade's best match. Absolutely not. Nice showing by AQA. Tornado DDT, that great shooting star press that she has. Sells like crazy for Jade. But there's some miscommunication. Jade's not, I know she likes to say green like money, but she's also green. She's had better matches than this, though. Absolutely. But she did debut the Tour of the Islands. Good for her. That's the kind of power move she needs. That's a good power move that she can just pull out of nowhere, slam someone down, no setup, no nonsense. I like it. But Jade, I keep telling y'all, she's going to keep improving. She's going to keep being better because everyone she's training with Bryan Danielson in AEW, who's working with her. She's not going to be great. And Serena Deeb did the 5-minute rookie challenge. Oh wait, no, but just before the TBS title match, right? It was like an open challenge she was doing, right, or something like that. Let's keep doing that. Like when Cody Rhodes did the TNT title open challenge, right? Let's do that. Keep bringing in people from the outside, sign a couple of them along the way. Let's do that. I think that's cool, and I think it's cool for Jade. It'll help continue putting her over, creating some interesting matches on top of that. It's good stuff. Then we got the Professor's 5-minute rookie challenge match, which was, perfect heel building for Serena Deeb to take apart Katie Arquette. I loved it. And then we got 2 proper matches on the card. Only 2. One of them was outstanding. The tag team match, CM Punk, turned out that his partner was going to be Jon Moxley, defeating FTR. This match fucking ruled, is what happened. Absolutely fantastic, spot on, excellent, fantastic, great wrestling match. I loved it. Fun back and forth to start. Punk is early on as the babyface in peril. Great spot by Cash. He grapevines the leg of Punk, and Dax comes in and just shoves Cash down on his back, cranking the grapevine back. Just great stuff. Simple, unusual, great. Mox is in, starts German suplexing everyone, hits a double DDT on FTR. Punk Pescados, FTR catch him, but then Mox dives on top of everyone. Great spot. Mox goes through the Timekeeper's table. The Timekeeper's table on Dynamite is the AEW Spanish announce table. They have to break it every week now. It has to happen. And this match clicks because the tag team specialists are taking it to the singles dudes. It rules. It really rules. FTR does a Sidewinder. Shout out to the Smoking Guns. Punk and Mox, they respond with a doomsday device. Listen to the phrase that is going to come out of my mouth right now. You ready for this? Get ready for this. Jon Moxley and CM Punk did a doomsday device together. Punk goes for a GTS. It's blocked. Reversed into a big rig by FTR, but Mox breaks up the pin attempt. Punk gets an Anaconda Vice in. Tully breaks it up and eats a GTS. Yeah, he didn't quite hit it. They finagled the camera angle to say, but do you want Tully Blanchard taking big ass bumps? I don't. It's fine. Babyfaces get the win with a stereo paradigm shift GTS. Good shit, pal. I loved this match. And then we got the main event. The AEW World title was defended in a Texas death match. Adam Page, the champion, the Hangman, defeated Lance Archer, started backstage. Page is all over Archer, through a glass window immediately off the bat. Archer is bleeding. It's a plunder match, of course, right? So, all sorts of shit going on. Dan Lambert, he's part of the ring crew now. He removes the top turnbuckle. the top rope, I should say. So Adam Page can't do the spring for the buckshot lariat. Page is bleeding because Archer used the turnbuckle fixtures to open him up, and Jesus Christ, does Page bleed. Jake Roberts is there too. He gets physical, short arm clothesline, teases the DDT, but it doesn't happen. We get kendo shots galore. Tables are set up. Archer has a fork, which he stabs Page with. And then he does one of these. Stairs get flipped. Spot of the night. This one's gonna haunt me. A blackout on the stairs from the apron. Insane spot by Adam Page. And I love the ending to this match. The referee, there's some barbed wire, and the referee is on. He's like bent over, picking up some barbed wire. So Page rolls off of the referee's back to get the momentum to do the buckshot lariat, and that momentum carries them both off of the ring. And remember, the top turnbuckle is down, right? So they just fall directly out of the ring onto the tables that were set up. Great ending. Archer can't beat the 10 count. It's done. Page retains. And then after the match, Adam Cole comes out to solidify the fact that he wants a shot at that title. Such good shit, pal. Such good shit. So we got Adam Page a couple of months ago mixing it up with one of the greatest wrestlers in the world, showing that he can hold his own in a straight up wrestling match. Tonight, or last night, I mean, he's able to get hardcore and eat the big bumps. Showing off everything he can do. It's good booking. I don't care which way you want to cut it. It's good booking. You know what? The thing is that I really like the second hour of Dynamite. I really did. And I like the Keith Lee debut. But, I mean, I don't want any more AEW Raw. I swear to God. So, indie wrestling was also abound this weekend. And we're going to review a couple of shows here. Because we got some good stuff this weekend. I watched quite a few shows. Going to talk about a couple here. By the way, thank you all for being here still. If you're still listening to this and enjoying it, give the video a like, thumbs up, maybe a review on your podcast app. Good stuff. I want to talk about Beyond Wrestling's Day 91 show this weekend. Why Day 91, you may be asking if you're not privy to indie wrestling. It was the 91st day, this Friday, of the release of Biff Busick, formerly known as Oney Lorcan. It was the 91st day of his 90-day non-compete. Happened right there. So they called it Day 91. Biff Busick back in some old stomping grounds. Getting back into Beyond. It was his homecoming show, but there was a lot of good stuff on the show. And look, by the way, like, I'm assuming that, a lot of you who listen, you watch a lot of WWE, watch a lot of AEW, and that's why we talk a lot about it here. But, if you ever want to get into independent wrestling, I always highly recommend starting with Beyond Wrestling. I think it is the best transition from, big league arena wrestling towards smaller independent wrestling. We hear talk about Game Changer Wrestling a lot, and for good reason. Game Changer is a disruptor. It is a promotion that does things the way they want to see it, and they're growing. They've got a great following, and there's a lot of reasons to like it. But GCW, I think, is a little more of an acquired taste for someone who wants to get into indie wrestling. You might be turned if you fall on a GCW match that doesn't click, because they do happen, you're gonna be like, oh. I don't see what's so special. Go to a Beyond show, watch a Beyond show. I think subscribe to independentwrestling.tv. It's $10 a month. You get a whole bunch. Not only do you get access to everything that Beyond does, but you also get limitless wrestling. You get I'm drawing a complete blank. You get tons of promotions there, just for $10 a month, including the Beyond stuff. Definitely check it out, and you should check out this card because this was a really fun show. This was a lot of fun here. Started off with a tag team match. The team of Whatever It Takes. Smart Mark Sterling and VSK defeated Love Doug and the Romantic Touch. The Romantic Touch is actually Rhett Titus, Ring of Honor World Television Champion, a secondary persona that he has. There was a lot of stuff that had to be changed on the card, including this match here because of the weather that happened this weekend. GCW was affected as well, but lots of fun. Love Doug is a wrestler that you need to get to know. This guy he's amazing. He's a lot of fun to watch. Very talented on top of that. Mark Sterling, you know what's great? He does a lot of indie dates and he's selling the neck injury on AEW wherever he goes. He has the neck brace thing. Fantastic stuff. Fun little match to kick things off. Get Matt Makowski defeating Anthony Green, who subbed in for Alex Shelley, who was supposed to fight Matt Makowski, which is a match which is supposed to be happening at some point. But there's always like stuff happening. Alex Shelley couldn't make it because of the weather. Anthony Green stepped in, so this was a great match. The story here is that Matt Makowski is on an undefeated streak, and he's gunning for AC Max Independent Wrestling Championship. And in this match, Makowski he's just picking Green apart, grappling, just taking his limbs apart. Green fights back with a crossbody and a super kick, but a spinning back kick into an armbar does the trick for Makowski. Matt Makowski, fantastic wrestler. I love him, and he's being booked like a badass, and he comes across as a badass. It works. Good match. Next, we had a tag team match. The Shook Crew, Bobby Orlando and Bryce Donovan, took on Rex Lawless and Willow Nightingale, who was filling in for, I don't know, I can't remember who she was filling in for, but she was filling in for someone. Fun little tag match full of great double team stuff. Willow hits a big pounce and Lawless a moonsault for the win. I really like the Shook Crew too, and I didn't know this, but Rex Lawless and Willow are a thing. They're a couple. They're dating. They kissed at the end of the match. Had a nice, cute little smooch. Again, fun little match here. Alex Price, the ace of Beyond Wrestling, defeated Marcus Mathers. Awesome match between two young, agile, fast dudes, and they don't like each other. During presentations, they're just trash talking each other, wanting to go. Mathers hits a German suplex, a disaster kick by Price. Mathers gets a Boston Crab in. Price resists with all he's worth, so Mathers just turns the crab around and starts stomping on his face. Great stuff. Springboard blockbuster by Price. Ace crusher by Mathers. Price attempts a Gotch powerbomb, but Mathers rolls through into, I don't know what you'd call it, like an inverted Ushigoroshi. Like just good stuff. It gets real physical. Alec Price wins. But then after the match, Matt Makowski runs out and goes after Alec Price. I'm here for that match too. This is just great stuff. Alec Price is fantastic. He had a tryout. You know, he was at the WWE tryout a couple of months ago at this point. In Vegas before the holidays, I think? It's time to enjoy him, man. Like if he's eyeing the big leagues, and especially if he's eyeing WWE, it's time to get acquainted with him and enjoy him while we still can, kind of thing. Because he's absolutely fantastic. We got a 6-man tag team match. We got Waves and Curls and Teddy Goods taking on The Righteous from Ring of Honor. The Ring of Honor 6 trios champions, actually, 6-man champions. Bateman, Dutch, and Vincent. This was fine. It's always nice to see Teddy Goods and Little Mean Kathleen as well. She was there handing support. And Waves and Curls are such a fun act. A crowd pleaser, full of energy. They come out to Whitney Houston and it just lights up the crowd. They've got the confetti shooters. It like a fun act. You know what I'm talking about? It was an okay 6-man tag match. Nothing to report, really. Cool, well-worked moment. Like, nothing wrong with it. Just like, it happened. It's fine. The Impact Digital Media title was on the line. Matt Cardona, the champion, successfully retained against Ricky Shane Page. Again, this is a Matt Cardona's heel persona on the indies is just amazing. He really does get it, and he gets how he's perceived, and he's just working it, and it's fantastic. It's a great kind of heat that he gets. All, you know, sprinkled with wrestling lingo, you know, and just very, very condescending to fans and his opponents. There's something about this match. I mean, it's fine, and I like Cardona's work. I like Ricky Shane Page, but you know, I don't think we're quite over Ricky Shane Page, evil deathmatch lunatic. You know what I mean? Like, Page wants to distance himself. I'll get the words out from death matches, and I can get behind that. I can understand that. I'm cool with that. Why not? But I don't think that as fans we're there yet. I don't think we're ready for Ricky Shane Page, not just like not deathmatch guy, but babyface. Because he was such a son of a bitch. He was the perfect antagonist for Nick Gage when he was GCW champion. Like personally, I'm still having trouble with you know, born again. You know, born not suddenly that he's Christian, but you know, like the renewal of Ricky Shane Page. I'm not there yet. It's not clicking for me yet. We'll get there. We had a really fun another really fun 6-man tag team match. The Foundation, made up of Rhett Titus, the Ring of Honor World Television Champion, and Tracy Williams took on, and Wheeler Yuta defeated the Kings of the District, Elo Neal and Jordan Blade, accompanied by Trish Adora, one of my faves. Good match. Williams and Titus picked Jordan Blade apart, working the arm to soften her grappling game, her striking game. But eventually the baby faces get in control. They triple team Wheeler Yuta. Tracy Williams, he's so good. He's so good, isn't he? Fantastic strikes, a gut wrench suplex. We get a submission party by the baby faces, a wrist lock, a crossface, and an ankle lock, all applied. Really cool final third between Yuta and Elo Neal. Yuta gets the win. Just a fun trios match. I enjoyed it a lot. You know what else I enjoyed a lot? Masha Slamovich versus Lufisto. So glad that Lufisto was able to get her visas in order, get everything in order so that she could come back and start working the U.S. indies. The Canadian scene is fine, but it's not as robust as it is in the U.S. Let's put it that way. And we're still very much, you know, there's, I don't know if you've heard, but the truckers are trying to save us all right now in Canada. You've probably heard. The truckers are going to save our freedoms. Anyway. This match, I really liked that it starts strong from the get-go. Working holds and submissions, and they're working snug, and neither woman is ready to give up an inch. Lufisto hits a butterfly suplex. Lufisto is still working amazingly. Like, still so strong, crisp, tight, works the audience. Just great stuff. They trade open palm strikes. Double spinning back elbows knock both women off their feet. Slamovich fights back with some kicks. Lufisto hits an amazing packaged, I don't know, suplex driver? I'm not quite sure how you'd call it. She hits an Alabama slam and a tiger driver. Nothing can put Slamovich away. Slamovich hits a massive head kick, axe kick, right to the back of Lufisto's neck. And a pile driver. There's a low blow. Masha avoids eating a burning hammer and hits a single underhook package pile driver to get the win. Great match. I really liked it. Such good stuff. And I'm going to tell you guys, you have to seek out Masha's work on the indies, particularly in Beyond. She is a worker. She is a worker's worker. She is so systematically good. Whether she's fighting dudes, whether she's fighting women, she is so fucking good at pro wrestling. I'm telling you, like right now, I know she's signed with Impact. She is not going to stay low key, low profile for very long. This woman is too good. She's too good to not be on a national stage and to be tearing it up. Get into it. Get into it. Masha Slamovich. And finally, the main event. Biff Busick returning against Slade. Two guys who are same type of build, same type of intensity, but Slade is just insane. Whereas I feel like Busick has a conscience. The other boy doesn't. Slade doesn't give a fuck. This match ruled. Busick coming back out to bro him by Pennywise. It's just great shit. It goes to the floor early. They start whooping each other. And Slade is in control early. Biff blades really, really quickly. There's an exploder suplex through a door. Biff hits a half and half. He grabs, he takes half of the door that he was just put through and he just clobbers Slade over the head with it. Slade's head just bursts right through the door. And Slade's no selling it. He's like fucking like commentaries. He's like Michael Myers. You can't put the guy down. There's an exploder suplex through the door. There's Biffy pelts Slade with the chair and Slade falls off the apron. And Slade blades and oh my god, Slade bleeds so much. Like it's pouring, like it's, if you watch Dynamite, and you're like, oh my God, look at how much blood is coming out of Paige. There was twice that amount. Like the guy is wrestling and he's de-gooping his eyes, like with 3 fingers at a time. He's going, blood, like that. And it's just dripping off his nose. These guys are bloodied. They're stained with each other's blood on their body. It's insane. The visuals are crazy. Slade, at the end of the match, he's defying everything that Biff is throwing at him. European uppercuts, kicks, and a trash can shot. And eventually Biff does win by putting a trash can over Slade. Uppercut, European uppercut. That finally puts him away. Jesus, what a fight. A fight. And I'm so excited that Biff Busick is back on the indies. I am stoked to see what happens moving forward, because the indies are ready for a guy like Busick. They're prime for him right now. And small commentary about this match, if anything, I look at this match and like, Slade kind of overshadowed Biff a little here, if you ask me. This is like going crazy, and the blood and, you know, the no cells and everything. I was like, oh, okay. This is Biff's time, Slade. It's Biff's. I highly recommend this show, especially post-intermission. I think post-intermission, everything clicked. Everything was fantastic. Starting with the six-man tag match. The four-way tag match, excuse me. I didn't talk about it. I skipped it over. Oh my God. There was a four-way tag match too. I'm sorry. Completely glossed it over. Bear Country versus the Miracle Generation versus Above the Rest, which is Gabriel Sky and Tristan Ty. And the Air Show, which is Mach 10 and Razor Wing. Miracle Generation are great here. Have some great double team offense. There's an assisted sliced bread by the Air Show on Bear Bronson. And most of the, aside from Bear Country, these are all nimble, high-flying guys. But we still saw Bear Boulder hit a Topicon Hilo. Fun match. Miracle Generation won. This weekend I also watched, excuse me, I'm really, my voice is starting to get shot. I apologize. This weekend I also spied the Pro Wrestling Eve, our friends over across the pond. They had their show Slayers in Spandex 2. Had some good stuff in it. There were some problems with the stream, which kind of bummed me out, because there's a few matches that I didn't quite fully experience, and that kind of bugs me. But here are some highlights nonetheless. Mercedes Blaze is a wrestler that you absolutely should be keeping on your radar. She has been developing, I think, she's developed so well within the past 2 to 3 years. Watching her on Eve, watching her grow, she is such a good, solid pro wrestler in 2022. And there's a lot of wrestlers that are featured on Eve where I'm like, why aren't people focusing more on these women here? Because there's so many great, fantastic talent. Mercedes Blaze being one of them. She defeated Camille Hansen in the opening match. Great stuff. We had Debbie Keitel defeating the Ava White. Ava White has this special kind of heat that special heels get with British crowds. Think Zach Gibson when he was working Brit Res. You know, there was he had the chance, the constant chance, and the shoes off if you hate Gibson and all that. This is the kind of heat Ava White gets. Tries to cut a promo, and the audience keeps singing at her. Singing her name, shut up Ava, like in all types of, you know, Brit pop tunes. Just fantastic heat this woman has. Great. I dug it. I love that kind of stuff. Becca is on a tour of Europe right now. She stopped in on Eve. Lost to Alexis Falcon. Had a good little Eve title match. Emerson Jane lost her title to Jeddah, the Princess Di of Eve Wrestling. Get some power moves early on. They throw each other around. Jane goes for a springboard crossbody, but Jeddah does the Samoa Joe walkaway, which I always appreciate. That's a mark of a smart wrestler right there. I love Jeddah so much. Jeddah does a cross-legged Michinoku driver. That's Jane that does that. Jeddah does a straight jacket code breaker. And she reverses a power bomb by Jane into a seated pin, to win the Eve Championship. Good stuff. We had a tag team match here as well. The Uprising, Rhea O'Reilly and Sky Smithson. Rhea O'Reilly, former Eve champion, and a good human being on top of that. Defeated Eve tag team champions, the Medusa Complex, Millie McKenzie and Chantal Jordan, who replaced Charlie Evans, who announced earlier this week that she was going to be taking a break from wrestling to reset her mental health. It's been very, very draining, unfortunately, on poor Charlie, and we wish her well. So, I mean, I was kind of expecting this result because Millie is signed with NXT UK, but didn't quite see the match because of the stream issues, which really bummed me out because I was really looking forward to watching this match. But the story here is that after the match, get a promo from the current NWA World Tag Team Champions, the Hex, Allison Kay, Marty Bell, who laid out a challenge, title for title, against O'Reilly and Smithson. That's going to happen at the next Eve show, beginning of March 4th, I believe, on International Women's Day. Women Behaving Badly is the name of the show. The Hex versus the Uprising, title for title. So that, my interest is highly piqued. We also had Hyen on the show. Hyen's always fantastic. Defeated Lena Austin, who is also very good. Ivy defeating Rita Slayworth. And main event, great main event, Lara DiMatteo defeated Alex Windsor to become the new Eve International Champion. This was a good match. Lara DiMatteo, man, this is another one where I don't understand. Both of these women here, Lara DiMatteo and Alex Windsor, I don't understand why they aren't on more people's radars. Is it because of the pandemic? Is it because, Brit Rez is in the state that it is right? I don't know. I don't know why. This was really good. Laura looked absolutely fantastic. Super, she's always been in great shape, but she looked particularly in tip-top shape for this match. Windsor is here she's just here to punish DiMatteo. We get a German suplex. She catches DiMatteo off a springboard into a blue thunder bomb. Get a sharpshooter, an Alabama slam by DiMatteo. DiMatteo's off the ropes and is caught into a power bomb and into another. But eventually DiMatteo lands a tombstone for the win. New champion. Just great stuff. I really can't put it over enough. Really, really good main event. Very strong. From Pro Wrestling Eve. GCW I Die First. Happened also this weekend, February 5th. Started off with a tag team match, Dante Leon and Ninja Mac defeating Jordan Oliver and Nick Wayne. A fine little match, where Ninja Mac was the guy everyone wanted to see wrestle. So he got the hot tag eventually. Hit a double back handspring tope con hilo, right? Because that's the kind of crazy shit Ninja Mac does. Oliver and Wayne do a fun stunner suplex combination, but Ninja Mac and Dante Leon win the match. I say it's fine. Good little opener. John Wayne Murdoch defeated ASF. ASF was subbing for Matthew Justice, who was supposed to fight John Wayne Murdoch, but the weather screwed up those plans. So instead we get Lucha Boy ASF, who is fantastic, don't get me wrong. He hits a tope senton between the second and third ropes, which was great. Then a tope con hilo proper as well. Murdoch sets up a door across the second turnbuckle towards the end of the match. Off the second turnbuckle ropes. And he stands on the door and delivers a jackhammer, from the door onto the ground. It's a pretty dope spot. Murdoch wins. Inoffensive. Get a GCW Extreme title match. Champion AJ Gray defeated Ali Catch. This was fine. It's a match that happened ultimately. Nothing really special about it. Ali hits a walking power bomb, which is pretty cool because AJ Gray is not a small man. She does her corner offense, a rope-assisted pile driver. Brainbuster by Gray, and it ends with an avalanche driver. I don't know if... I don't know. It didn't quite click. Didn't quite happen for me. That wasn't it. But it's fine. You know, it's nothing to hate. Speedball Mike Bailey was there. He defeated Jimmy Lloyd. This one starts off quick and strong. Bailey with a great tope con hilo. He and Lloyd fight into the audience. Bailey with double knees off a boxing ring, because there's a boxing ring. They're in some kind of training facility, so there's a boxing ring there. There's even football uprights, you know, at some point in the venue. Double knees off the boxing ring onto Lloyd, who's prone on the floor. There's this great spot, right? Bailey is on the apron, okay? Lloyd is in the ring. Jimmy Lloyd runs the ropes. Bailey jumps as Lloyd slides under the bottom rope. And as he's in the air, right, Bailey then springboards off the top rope for a fantastic acai moonsault, landing into the chairs in the audience. Beautiful spot. And the shooting star double knees puts Jimmy Lloyd away. He's dead. Well, not literally. Fun little match. We get a Falls Count Anywhere match. AAA legend Psycho Clown defeated Gringo Loco. And from everything that talking again with people and reading about it online, there were two types of people who saw this match. People who absolutely loved it, and people who shrugged at it. Where does your boy Warren fall? Well, let me tell you. It was a grounded match, which is something very unusual because these are two lucha guys. I was not expecting what I got. But very, very grounded. Oddly paced. A lot of spot placing, which really isn't my thing. And knowing like how fast and daring both of these guys are, both Gringo, and Psycho Clown, I was kind of like, okay, it's a little plotting. So I guess I'm in the shrug category where I'm just like, all right. But I think my major annoyance with this match is that this match was a Falls Count Anywhere match. But all the falls were counted in the ring. I don't understand. Gringo Loco, he tears that clown's mask, so he's going full rudo here. He's a bastard. You're not supposed to do that. You're not supposed to pull out a luchador's mask. Gringo, you know this. You punk. Clown blades. We get Clown doing a corkscrew tope through a door set up on the floor. That was pretty cool. Loco blades as well, and boy does he, god damn does that boy bleed. He hits a twisting rope hung neck breaker as well. They fight into the crowd and into an area where the uprights are. I mentioned those, right? Like actual football uprights. Loco sets Clown on a door on the floor, and he climbs up the uprights and he swantons off of the uprights. I'm like, whoa! And then Clown, and soon thereafter, climbs up on the balcony, which is next to the uprights, and then dives onto Loco. But nobody attempted a pin. No pin attempts. They go back to the ring to try to pin the guys. I'm like, it's a Falls Count Anywhere. The ref is right there. There's an air raid crash through a chair upright by Clown. There's light tubes that appear that are used on Loco. Avalanche Spanish Fly by Clown gets the win. Again, like the spots, the high spots were impressive, of course. Match didn't do it for me. Then we got a 5-way scramble match. I am not a fan of scrambles. I'm not. Most of the time, I think they're junk. It's a reason to book a bunch of people on a show. This one was pretty good. I liked it. Atticus Kogar defeated Alex Zane, Dark Sheik, Deranged, and Grim Reaper. And I mean, you know, scrambles are all about spots, right? Kogar flies and dives in on everyone in a great sequence. Just absolutely. Atticus Kogar is great, by the way. Deranged hits an SIE moonsault, but almost lands on his head. Dark Sheik does a coffin drop. There's this mistimed powerbomb Rana Tower of Doom spot that's really, really messy. Grim lights up in the match, does some atomic elbows and puts the joint out on Kogar's forehead. Zane hits a cutthroat pump handle driver, but Kogar steals the win. Like, as far as scrambles go, I enjoyed it. My match of the night happened next. Blake Christian defeated Laredo Kid, recent Impact signee Laredo Kid. God, this was really good. This was a lot of fun. A blast. They established early on that they are equally matched. Springboard missile dropkick and an SIE moonsault by Kid. Springboard double stomp by Blake. Laredo spears, or at least attempts to spear Blake, who dodges. Kid hits the post hard. And immediately, Christian Blake follows up with a dive, and then a Tope con Hilo immediately after. Just Blake Christian, man. Bottom rope moonsault elbow drop by Kid. Coming off the bottom rope. Just fantastic stuff. Blake hits the tilt-a-whirl gutbuster and the rolling standing frog splash. Ripcord Spanish Fly. Frog splash proper. There's a bit of an ugly landing off of a top rope spot they attempted, but it doesn't take away from this match. Blake finishes it with an inverted sister Abigail, where he lifts and then drops Laredo Kid on his head. I'm not quite sure what it was, but it was cool. This match was good. Good, solid, good. Match of the night. Main event came up. Joey Janela wrestled Dr. Wagner Jr., bit of a lucha legend there as well. And okay, this was okay. Slow paced. You know, Wagner isn't maybe the luchador he once was. But, you know, Janela does a dive, but Wagner moves out of the way. And boy, Janela just crashes into the chairs. It was nuts. They fight into the audience. Janela sits Wagner at the merch table, takes a running sprint, and then launches himself over the table. Back in the ring, we get a DVD, a Death Valley Driver by Janela. Wagner with a Romero special. Wagner at some point is laid out on a door, which is on the floor. Janela flies off the top rope with an elbow drop, but Wagner moves out of the way. Back in the ring, they do the spot again, but Janela hits the big diving elbow on Wagner through the door. Janela makes a structure with chairs, but Wagner gorilla presses him onto it and wins. That's all right. That's fine. I like Joey Janela. I'm always here for a Joey Janela match. That's fun. That's all right. After the match, Psycho Clown comes in, starts tossing chairs at Wagner, just like, hey. And he challenges Wagner. He challenges Wagner to a match in GCW, but not any kind of match, a mask versus hair match. Now, they previously had a mask versus match together, And Psycho Clown won the match. Wagner lost his mask, so he wrestles maskless now. So Psycho Clown's mask versus Wagner's hair. No need to tell you that in the tradition of Lucha Libre, this is a big deal. This is a big time match happening in GCW. They're probably going to do this over the Collective, right? That's would be my guess. Great stuff coming up. That like having a Lucha Libre hair versus mask match, North American soil in GCW. That's cool. It's cool as hell. And here's what's upcoming really quickly for some upcoming cool wrestling shows. West Coast Pro Wrestling. Tomorrow evening, Friday, February 11th, The Art of Drowning. We've got Mike. It's a stack card. Mike Bailey versus ACH. Kylie Ray, Rachel Ellering, Masa Slamovich, Nicole Savoy, Fatal 4-Way. It's on independentwrestling.tv. This Saturday, February 12th, Warrior Wrestling 19. Thunder Rosa. She'll be defending her Warrior Wrestling women's title against Athena. That's right. Big time main event. The Briscoe brothers are going to be taking on the Workhorsemen, Anthony Henry and JD Drake. And the Briscoe brothers made the match today. They got it sanctioned for the ROH tag team titles. You can watch that on Fight TV. WWR Plus this weekend, February 13. Galentine's Day Massacre. Got some great stuff here. Willow Nightingale versus AC Mack, who was flown in on Delta Airlines. Kayla Sparks versus Edith Surreal. Kings of the District versus the Hardcore Geeks, the team of Kennedy Copeland and Riley Shepard. Got to check that out this weekend, this Sunday, IWTV, independentwrestling.tv. Noah N Innovation is happening on February 17. On February 19, we have GCW Believe Me. Got Mascara Dorada, formerly known as Grand Metalik, against Joey Janela. The Briscoes versus SAT. Atticus Cogar versus Billy Starks. That's on Fight TV. There's a lot of wrestling next weekend. Again, on February 19, Capital Championship Wrestling Battleground. Kylan King versus Davien for the CCW Championship. That's on Title Match if you want to check that out. Black Label Pros, Mikey's version of pro wrestling, February 19. Got Matt Mikowski versus Filthy Tom Lawler. Hey-o! Get ready. It's gonna hurt. Plus, Layla Hirsch versus Kevin Blackwood. That should rule. independentwrestling.tv. New Japan New Year's Golden Series is going to be wrapping up February 19 and 20th. February 19 is going to be headlined by Hiroshi Tanahashi versus Sonata for the US title. And the 20th, Kazuchika Okada versus Tetsuya Naito for the IWGP World Heavyweight title. Of course, you can watch all that on New Japan World. Prestige Wrestling Roseland 2 on February 20th, Listen to this. Davey Richards versus Malachi Black for the first time ever. Dalton Castle versus Alex Shelley. Bussy, Ali Catch, and Effie versus Pax Americana, Dark Sheik, and MV Young. Fantastic card. Prestige Wrestling, man. They're going to be tearing it up over the next few months. I'm excited to see where this is going. And you can watch it on independentwrestling.tv. And as far as all of this goes, this is the way and the end of the weekly wrestling inspection. Oh, folks, I hope you had a good time tonight, because I sure did. I enjoyed myself tremendously. Thank you all very much for joining me tonight. If you're watching this live here on youtube.com/MrWarrenHayes. Last chance to give it a thumbs up if you're here live, or if you're listening to this on demand. Hey, leave a comment on top of that. Tell me what you liked about in the week in wrestling this week, because there was a lot of stuff to like. Let's chat about it. Leave a comment below. I'll pop in. We'll exchange. We'll have a little back and forth. It'll be cool. Otherwise, I hope everyone has a wonderful weekend. Please, everyone, stay safe. Continue taking care of yourself and your loved ones. And I hope you just have a wonderful time. If you want to, don't forget, if you are a member of the Mr. Warren Hayes Show proper, the Mr. Warren Hayes Show channel, the members only stream is going to be tomorrow, Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 Central. Come and join us. It's a lot of fun. We sit down, we chat. We just chat about pro wrestling, which is always a good time. So again, thank you everyone for joining me. We'll see you next time.